right, guys, how are we doing this week?
Good.
Good.
All right, well, if y'all want to reintroduce yourselves, that'd be great. I'm Elizabeth, and I hope the homework went well this week. Let's see, so we discussed last week about your father and his abuse to you guys. And I was wanting to delve into more specifically what y'all meant, each of you, by each of that, because, you're three different people, you probably had different experiences, since you are, all three different ages and all that. So, we can start with you, Denise. Specifically, what kind of abuse did you endure? What did you mean? What did it do for you?
The abuse was, he would yell, he would do a lot of yelling and screaming. And occasionally he would slap me. By me being the oldest, I had to take on a lot of responsibility. So if my younger sisters did something, I got punished for it a lot. But, yeah.
Okay, and so it was, the slapping, was it, where exactly did he slap you?
Mostly over here, right?
On your face?
Mm-hmm.
And how did you feel after?
I was angry because I wanted to know why was I being hit. And then at certain times I would blame myself for it, but then I realized that, hey, it isn't me, it's him, he has a problem. But the abuse been going on for a while, so it took me a minute to get to that, at least to that point.
Okay, and you said you were angry. What does angry look like to you?
Honestly, to the point that I wanted to turn around and hit him back, but I never did. I wanted to fight back.
How about you?
What I meant.
What abuses? Yeah, sorry.
I didn't get as much of the physical part of it when we were young. I was the middle child, and so a lot of it was just the screaming and the yelling at me, to me, at me. He'd probably hit me maybe once or twice a month, but most of it was just him yelling at us all the time, just being angry all the time. I mean, I just feel like there was never a moment where he would just sit down and just be a dad. It was just always yelling, always anger. The smallest things would just set him off. And if we fought, then that would set him off even more. We could never have the typical sister fights that everybody else has.
What does that mean to your typical sister fight?
Well, I mean, I guess maybe you like watch movies and stuff, and you see sisters fight about, stealing things from the rooms, and I don't know who. If your friends come over, closing the door, wanting some alone time, but we couldn't do that because we were so scared that if we did it, he would, hit Denise or yell at us, and it just I guess it kind of put us into this little clique of our own. We had to kind of protect each other with it.
How about you, kids?
For me, most of it, I also got slapped, but a lot of it was, I felt like he was emotionally abusive. There was a lot of name calling, a lot of demeaning comments about not all of our weights, what we look like, what we chose to wear, blah, blah, blah. And it was just constantly like, if he wasn't slapping one of us, he was verbally slapping one of us, always something.
Something like what? You give me.
Something like, we would get ready for like the homecoming dance at the high school, and he'd be like, oh, well, he would pin us against each other almost, like, oh, I wish if only the other two of you could look as good as Denise does in her outfit because he liked her dress better or something like that, like it was, or, oh, that's the color you chose to wear out, that doesn't make you look very good.
Well, he always brought up mom, what mom would have wanted.
True.
I agree.
And then mom's dead, so what does it really matter what she would have wanted us to do, what she would have wanted us to look like? she hardly even remembers her mom. I remember a few memories, and then Denise has a few more, but we don't know what mom wanted. I mean, we never got to know her well enough. But he always wanted to compare us to what mom wanted.
And both of them were very conservative, and I think raising teenage girls was really hard for him. But, I mean, even now I still struggle with my body image, and when I want to change how my hair looks or something, I always hear that voice in the back of my head, like, do you really think that would look good? Do you really think that's how you should be acting?
So his comments when you were young has affected you
Yes.
into your adulthood. As far as your self-confidence, would that be true for the two of you as well?
Yes.
Well, for me, I think I have more of a problem with just letting people in. I mean, I guess maybe we were so close when we were young that I never really had to have friends after that. And, you know, now I don't really have many people around. I'm married and have kids, but I don't really let anybody else in because
Well,
it's just,
what happened to Molly? You guys were so close last year.
yeah, well, we got in a fight and we just haven't talked since then.
So you have trouble with relationships other than, like, and you're all married, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, other than your significant other and your children, and you mentioned you had a friend, have y'all been able to have support systems outside of your immediate family?
Well, right out of college, I just kind of, I'm a flight attendant, so, I mean, I'm not here very often. When I am here, I go to visit. I hang out with my niece and nephew a lot. I don't really, I mean, other than the girls I work with, and that changes constantly. I don't have a lot of close friends or anything.
But
I'm
even
not
before
married.
that, you never really had anybody when you were, you know, living in town for a while.
That's true. I've always been a bit of a loner. It's just easier that way, though. I honestly like my job because it makes it easier not to have to make connections like that. You can just be acquaintances with a lot of people.
Okay.
And I have my husband as my support system along with my sisters to help me.
Okay. And what do you do?
I'm a substance abuse counselor.
Okay. So you go to work and you come home and you're with your support system and you do that on a day-to-day basis. Okay. So as far as, you know, you all have in common each other as your support systems, what does that look like on a daily basis, your relationships with each other?
We'll call each other and check on each other. Whenever our schedule permits, we'll go out and maybe like eat dinner or go to a movie and kind of hang out a little bit. Or we might go to a spa or something, pamper ourselves. And you know, we're very close.
We share a lot of what happens in our families. And that's what we just want to get to a point where what happened in the past doesn't affect us as much as it used to. You know, we just want to feel like the abuses in the past, and we just feel like it's still affecting us, you know, with our relationship with our dad and our relationship with people that have nothing to do with the relationship with our dad. And we just, we haven't been able to get there on our own.
Okay. And that's why you're here. Okay. Did you have anything you want to say about y'all's relationship, Kinsey?
I think they pretty much said it all. I agree.
Okay. And y'all have always been this close, even, I know you don't have a lot of memories before your mom passed, but were y'all pretty
Yeah.
close when you were young too?
Denise and I were pretty close. Kinsey was still young, but we were all growing to be pretty close.
And what does, if y'all would help me understand, I'm an only child, and I didn't have siblings. What is being sisters like? I'm curious.
To us, it's just about checking on each other and
Make sure we're okay, or if we need anything, we're there.
Okay.
sharing stories.
Friendship, financial, anything, we're there.
So you'd say y'all's relationship is okay, it's just relating to dad?
Relating to dad and other people.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you think specifically y'all would like to do as far as relating with your dad? I know we talked about that a little bit last week. But specifically, a specific set of goals that maybe we could work on the next couple of months. We could all agree.
Dad.
maybe for us to maybe sit down with him and feel like when we're all together around him that we can kind of speak freely and say what we want without a fear of him being mad at her for something that I've said or another way around.
Okay. Well, maybe, would y'all feel comfortable maybe being a teeny bit more open around him?
I could try.
Try to put your heart out there a little bit.
I'm worried there's gonna be backlash if we try to do that.
Have y'all told him that you are in counseling?
No, I don't think he needs to know.
Okay. So, the follow-up question to that was gonna be, would y'all consider him joining?
I don't think that's a
No.
good idea.
Okay, no problem.
Not right now.
Okay, well, so we can try that, just maybe be a little bit more open, if you don't want to. If, you know, throughout this week, if it's, you know, Alzheimer says bad days and good days, if you don't feel like it, that's fine. But continue the writing assignment, about, you know, but instead focus on the, just the positives. So, we'll see how that goes for next week, okay?
Okay,
Okay,
thank you. Thank you.